Let me show you how I used MDrumStrip to mix my recent song For You by Ed Baron and Ian Carlson. Without having a lot of experience mixing real recorded drums, I transformed them from this raw sound into this. Working on my EP Groove Tape was my first real opportunity to record real drums for a song of mine. Definitely a cool experience, and it definitely added to the songs, but I was a bit overwhelmed at first when it came to processing the recordings, since I had never really done that before. Luckily, I remembered that Melda's MDrumStrip is part of a bundle of theirs I own, and it did not disappoint. Let me show you how I used it. I have this overall drum bus right here, and it has some bus processing on there. A compressor, saturator, and very slight EQ. Let's hear it without the bus processing. And with? Without. Alright, let's leave that off for now. Just remember, everything we process is going to go through this bus. Then I have a single kick channel, a snare bus combining top and bottom mics, and a bus for the two overheads. And also mics for the toms on individual channels. This is a dry kick. And this is it with MDrumStrip, the bass drum module, of course. A lot of work here is done by the gate. The gate filters out all of the other drums except for the kick. And also bleed kill is doing a lot of work. Together they really isolate just the kick. Then we have this EQ right here. The idea is that you tune this to the fundamental of your kick drum right here. I don't think I actually did that properly, but I still managed to get a good sound. And then it lets you control the levels of the specific harmonics, like the second harmonic, the third harmonic. What I mostly did right here was I took out a lot of the mid. And I added some of this band right here. That's subtle. There's also a reverb on here. No, actually I have the dry wet all the way down, so there's no reverb. And the dynamics module. Makes it a bit more consistent and also increases the loudness a bit. Also, these two knobs up here are doing a lot without the saturator. And with the saturator. What I was after was a really dead and punchy drum sound. And I think a really helpful aspect of MDrumStrip when mixing was that it really gives you some processors nicely laid out that you maybe wouldn't have considered to put on the drums otherwise. It makes obvious what you could do to the drums. You could gate them, you could kill the bleed, you could EQ them in a specific way. I think it's very handy, very intuitive. Let's move on to the snare. This is the snare sound, dry. Obviously a lot of hi-hat in this one. Also, this is consisting of two mics. This is just the top mic. And this is just the bottom mic. The bottom mic mainly gives you some more snare sizzle. And I mixed it quite a bit lower than top mic. And together they sound like this. First of all, I again used MDrumStrip, now with the snare drum module. Again, gate and bleed kill are quite important here. Without it sounds like this. But it lets us filter out just the snare very effectively. I boosted the body, which I found to be around 200 Hz, quite a lot. Without this band it sounds like this. And with? That gave me that punch I really wanted in the snare. There is a bit of reverb on here. And these two bands are bringing out a bit of the high end. And again, I used the dynamics module, which combines 3 different compressions with this XY pad down here, but I did process it a bit more. I added this EQ to get a bit more of the fundamental and the high end. I added a transient shaper to make it a bit more dead, especially in combination with the overheads. I thought I could really use that. And I added a bit more attack. And with Neutron Exciter, I saturated just this mid band. This is how it ended up sounding. And dry. And processed. Let's now hear the overheads. These I just treated very minimally with a bit of EQ. Now let's add back in the snare. And the kick. And again with a dry kick and dry snare. Sounds very natural, very loose. And now we really tightened it up. Let's also hear a section with the drums. I put the tom module in MDrumStrip on all of them, mostly for the gate right here. I also didn't mind if there was a bit of bleed. I mostly just wanted the channels to be quiet whenever the toms weren't playing, right? So I didn't have to do a whole lot of editing. Right here, we don't have any signal, but when they come in, the gate opens up for the toms to come through. Also, there is some EQ. So that's how I used MDrumStrip. Let's hear it again. All processing disabled, just the dry recordings. And now with all the effects except for the bus processing. And now with the bus processing enabled. Bus processing disabled. And in context. This isn't fully mixed. After I created this drum sound and made some other preliminary adjustments, I sent it back to my collab partner Ian Carlson, and he did the rest of the mix, and then I mastered it, and now it's out everywhere on streaming and for download and on Bandcamp. Check it out. It's called For You by @BaronLane, that's my artist name, and Ian Carlson. My main goal here was to show you that MDrumStrip is very powerful, especially because it gives you some good starting points for what processing you could do to drums, especially if you are new to mixing drums. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for checking out my song, and see you again soon.